Hello, everyone. I hope you're ready for another episode of Box Office Shuffle because today we watched Ready or Not from 2019 and we're ready to talk about it because two of our panelists and two of our hosts have not seen this movie before, and I'm very excited to get their takes on it as I have. I'm one of your hosts, Thomas, aka Mr. Warburg. Alongside me, as always, is Chris, aka Gamma Caruchador.
Yo, double salute.
And of course, we also have Joe.
Hey.
So as I said, we're reviewing 2019's Ready or Not, starring Samara Weaving. Now, gentlemen, before we get into some facts and particulars, just kind of first blush, as a first-time viewers, what was your takeaways from the film? Don't get too into the nitty-gritty, but did you have a fun time watching this film?
Oh, I had a great time watching the film.
Because it was a good Discord experience, or the film itself was good?
Film itself was good, and the Discord experience was also quite good too. Let's not get too into it right now, but yeah, I enjoyed quite a bit.
Chris, how about you?
I did not enjoy it. I did not think it was very fun, and we'll get into why, but it did not hook me.
Okay. See, this is why
But I have my reasonings why. So
this is why we made a podcast, because we like talking about movies and we don't always agree. And it's pretty low stakes. It's just movies. So, Ready or Not, 2019, like I said, starring Samara Weaving. Oh, crap. I lost my Google Doc. Hang on.
Panic.
Hang on. Ready or Not fact sheet. Here we go. Released August 21, 2019, excuse me. Got some things flipped around. The directors were Matt Bettinelli, /Olpen, and Tyler Gilley. They are a couple of founding members of Radio Silence. They're a production company that was founded in 2011. Those two helped found it, and they worked on a number of projects, but they have more or less a horror bend to a lot of the productions that they help, shepherd through the process, and many of the founders direct those films as well. They directed a couple of the VHS stories. Those are anthology horror things. They did, I believe they had a piece in the original VHS, and in there was a 2021. They did another thing for VHS as well. There was a runtime of about 95 minutes. Budget just around $6 million, with a gross box office of 57.6. So made a hefty chunk of change. Notable cast and crews, like I said, Samara Weaving, the lead role as Grace. Also that year's easily most favored Halloween costume. I think Elise Williams, that I followed from back in the old Funhouse days, she did this as well. Adam Brody might have been the biggest name before the movie was released. He had been in a number of television products on network TV. I think he was in the OC, if I remember right. He was also in Shazam earlier in 2019. He plays Freddie Freeman's superhero self. Alongside Zachary Levi.
Before.
Yeah. Okay. But he's been in a number of roles. I most knew Henry. I have never actually heard his last name said, but I think it's Cerny, because it's like a CZERNY. I knew him as Kittredge from the OG Mission Impossible, and then now Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning when he comes back. Whoa. Also, Melanie Scafrano. She played one of the sisters. She was the drug addict sister. She starred in Winona Earp, in Letterkenny as a recurring character, as well as a recurring character and captain on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, as well as a number of other projects as well. But those are the three I most knew her from. All right, so we'll get into, I guess, for me, I was the only one coming in that had seen this film before. I actually saw it with my sister back in theaters in 2019. That was right before COVID. We were trying to catch some movies. I think we might have been still. That would have been before I think she moved down to where she's currently living. So she was more in my local area, and we saw a bunch of movies together, and this was one of them. I had an absolute blast with it, even though normally this genre is not my thing. I think what helps hook it for me is that more black/dark comedy edge to it, that really just the situation kind of brings out in the characters who are playing it straight, but also kind of hamming it up in certain ways. And I think that juxtaposition is very funny. Like the scene with just the basic customer service interaction with their version of OnStar fucking over the lead character. It's hilarious, even though it's extremely mundane interaction in and of itself. Outside of a horror movie, just calling OnStar, and yet it's hilarious in this film. That kind of thing, it just works really, really well for me. Plus, Samara Weaving absolutely is awesome in this movie. So for me, it's definitely one of my favorites of this kind of quasi horror comedy genre. I don't think it's quite Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Which, have you guys seen either of that? Either of you seen that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
So that might be on next year's kind of horror fest because Tucker and Dale versus Evil is more overt comedy, I think. It's Alan Tudyk's one of the leads in that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one is more wants to be kind of half. I don't even want to say half and half, but more balanced in comedy versus the horror. And this one's more thriller horror with some comedy, but just enough that I really dig it. So Chris, why, since you brought it up, why did you not like this film?
So when it comes to films like this, I'm very particular about you need to immerse me, and I never felt immersed in this because I didn't believe any. Um, there is, in my mind, there is no way that these people would be doing this for this long and nobody would have ever gone to the cops. There would be something about they talked about it where it's like they did some games with other people and they decided not to do it and they just ended up going missing or dying or something, and it's like, did nobody ever look into that? Like, there would be investigations into your entire family, and I understand you're rich people get off the hook all the time, but they needed to at least bring light to that, and that would have made it a little bit more believable for me. I don't think that they really explained the whole curse of everything, why they had to do it. I mean, they explained, like, kind of, but I never believed it until the end when shit started happening because they failed. And to me, that wasn't it was satisfying seeing everybody die because they're all a bunch of dickheads. They all deserved death. But like, there was nothing to make me believe it up until that point. And so when it ended up happening, for me, it wasn't even satisfying to watch them all die. I do think Samara Weaving was fantastic. I think that, like, the acting in this, I feel like it was meant to be campier, except for a couple of characters like Daniel. I think he was meant to be a little bit more straight laced, and I think he did a great job. But with all the campiness and everything, I think everybody did a fantastic job acting. I won't take it away from that. But just like the movie as a whole, the premise, how they went through explaining things and doing stuff, it was too outside of reality without explaining their reality to me enough that I did not care for it. So, and I usually like to have at least somebody who has a redeeming quality, where Daniel kind of does, but then you have, what was his name? Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, like, showing that he was, and I guess it's a twist that he ends up being just kind of a dick, but it wasn't really because he was a dick to begin with, if you think about it. Oh, I love you so much. I'm gonna put you into this bullshit, but I love you so much. And it's like, come on, dude, you don't understand. Like, I wanted everybody to be blowing up within 3 minutes of the movie starting. I hated every single character so much.
Fair enough.
And I guess that's a good thing, but I think I hated them less because of their intentions and more because of, I just think a lot of the characters were just terrible in planning, in my honest opinion.
Joe,
Mhm.
you're another first time viewer of this one.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts?
Man, it's actually a pretty solid movie in my eyes. Um, it kind of had the feeling for a little bit there of like Tucker Dale versus Evil, which kind of like some of the early kills. I was like, okay, so it's kind of cheesy in that aspect. The story I actually did like. It's kind of vague, which I kind of like it because you can fill in your own kind of aspect, like what kind of happened to this. The whole like how they became like wealthy through like the dealings with the father or the great. It'd have been the grandfather, wouldn't it have been? Would have been his dad
It was just a
that made
business
the
part.
deal.
Oh yeah. I
That
think it
made the deal with
was
this
LaBelle.
entity, LaBelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave him that mystery box. Um, and there was the first kill. The opening scene is the scene where the guy does not want to do the hide and seek. That's him dying. Is
Yeah, that's Helene's husband.
That's Lean's husband?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the aunt, the white-haired aunt. That's
yeah,
her husband.
her
And that's the
husband.
last time they played the game.
And that's the last time they played that version of the game. Everyone else played
Yeah,
what?
nobody else drew hide and seek.
No one else drew hide and seek, so it's been like the first actual murder, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they played like Old Maid, and then
Somebody says chess.
someone says chess. Yeah. So I feel like this is like technically the first murder, so there might not be that much investigating done in that aspect, especially.
Well, he does
I don't know.
mention, the Alex character does mention that a lot of family members refused to play at all. It just did not have weddings in the family.
Oh,
And then they
yeah.
died the day after they got married.
Okay.
Like,
So it's
they
that.
just would all die. Which,
No.
yeah, that's weird.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the ending I thought was pretty good with the kind of like the delayedness and the weirdness that kind of brought.
Hell of an ending, though, with the what happened to
Dude.
you in-laws.
In-laws.
Just,
I was like, that's a good one there. Like, let's go.
that was. She has a few great it's just her scenes, like the fucking rich people when she's screaming at the dude that drove away. God
Yes.
damn,
Mhm.
that
very
was great.
solid.
That was great.
Ooh, the hand on the nail.
That
That
whole
one really
scene,
got me. I
So-
screamed like,
yeah, that's one of those ones. It's kind of like the nail in A Quiet Place, where like they just showed you. Oh, here's some body horror. She's gonna step on it. She's gonna put her hand on it, like the one that just got shot. She's gonna do it. So I think maybe like I didn't know what to expect in this movie, but I brought up Quiet Place. That was another one of those around that same time movies that just fucking wowed me in the theaters, while still being kind of edge of your seat. Holy shit, what's gonna happen? Like, who's gonna die? Like, who's gonna make it through? Kind of thriller aspect of it, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, we were playing. I think we were playing Halo. Was it Halo last time we were playing when I mentioned, yeah, like there's one scene in this movie where I'm like, I don't know if I can watch it because I know what that smell is. The dead animals smell.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like, I grew up raising hogs, and Joey has as well. You know what that pit smells like, and
Ugh.
it ain't fun. I'll tell you
No.
that. There's a reason it is not normally near anywhere where anybody lives. And,
Yeah.
it is
Ugh.
disgusting. Yeah, when she falls down.
Ugh.
And the sound design with the flies and like just the ratcheting up of like the music that's getting you on edge. Oh my god, makes me want to puke. That's before the Weaving pukes on camera. It's like, god damn, that sucked. I hate that's my least favorite scene in the film, but it's very effective for me in that sense. So big picture.
Mhm.
Maybe I could have started here, but where are you guys at on the horror genre? You guys big horror heads? You're not huge horror fans? Where you guys come down on that? First takers on that one.
I like a good horror movie. I'm kind of that guy. Haven't seen that many, but I don't know why I'm like oddly picky. I really get into them.
Okay.
The
Got a favorite? At least any that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be this is my best horror movie, but
the found footage film. I really kind of dig that. The first one,
Blair Witch.
Not Blair Witch. The security cameras.
Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal activities. Paranormal activities.
You
I
say
like
paranormal
activities. No.
Jesus, Joey.
No.
You're on a roll tonight.
Yeah, Paranormal Activities. I really like that, and I wish they would have stopped at one because it's just, I don't know, it's kind of perfect.
Great
But
phenomenon
again,
that they kind of drove into the ground.
they did. They really did. The only thing is, like, with that kind of movie, cheap to make, and it made fuck ton of money.
Yes, it
So
really did.
of course the company's like, oh yeah, we got to make this, print it into the ground.
That's why I'm
Ugh.
surprised Ready or Not 2 hasn't happened yet because I mean
Yeah.
obviously COVID destroyed a lot of the pipeline stuff, but I mean this made 10 times its budget with
Yeah.
not a very A-list
Oh, wow.
cast, pulling funds, pulling, points on the back end or anything. So,
Yeah.
it was probably very, friendly contracts in terms of like an equitable pay scale and everything, like ish, obviously,
Mhm.
but 'cause that's always sliding. But it made a lot of money. Like is it Bloom? Oh my god, I know it's not Blumfield. Bloomhouse, maybe.
Bloom
Yes.
House?
Yeah.
They're a similar model where they will, like, hey, what's a pitch that's super cheap that might still make 50 to 75 million? Cool, let's make that. Right, and like very
Yeah.
similar model to this one, this was a Fox Searchlight production. Same kind of model where we would get stuff like Prey
Oh,
later
good movie.
in, which is very recent. Though, did you guys see the news about that's getting 2 movies next year?
Hey,
One's
no.
an animated anthology apparently, but the other's a proper sequel. I think it's called Badlands. Which is
Okay,
like,
damn.
I don't know if it'll be a time jump thing or what, but that's what the name is, like Predator Badlands. So like, I'm fucking in because Prey ruled
Yeah.
so hard.
Prey
They're so
was
good.
great.
God, Prey was good. But so Chris, what about you? You got many horror favorites, or you just not a huge fan of the genre?
I'm not a big fan of the genre. The closest I get is watching people play horror video games. But even then, that's more of a I'll watch them play for a little bit, or I'll just and then do something else, or I'll just have it on a different screen while I'm doing something else. So I'm not like actively watching it. I think from my experience with horror movies, because of the way that I was talking about this movie earlier, like I don't believe horror movies a lot. I don't get immersed into anything, so I don't care about anything in any of those movies. When it comes to games, they build up this world. They build up a backstory. They build up a reason for why things are happening all the time in those games that are great. Like Alien Isolation or the Resident Evil series or Silent Hill. Like those games have such a rich backstory that they pretty much start you with that get you hooked into those that I'm able to watch those and watch somebody else play them and be like, "Oh, I'm following this story. I'm immersed in this world because I actually understand it and it makes sense to me." But I just don't get that with movies.
And speaking of isolation, I've either you guys seen Alien.
I've not seen Alien. That is one that I
Yeah.
definitely do want to see.
That
it's
is
very
one that
good.
is on my upper echelon, both of just filmmaking in general and of like the genre because it's more sci-fi horror, thriller, with
Mhm.
being chased by this monster that happens to be an alien, and that concept is extremely well executed, maybe perfectly executed with the first Alien, and is still to this day absolutely holds up in every sense of the word, and is definitely one of my favorites of the genre as well. So, but normally I'm not a huge horror head. Like this time of
Mhm.
year, I don't do Shudder. I'm not the only. There's one quasi. Well, it is a horror movie, but I think the concept is very very fun. And Happy Death Day is on my. I really want to watch those
Oh,
movies.
that's a good one.
And and like I follow a few people on Twitter that are still mad the third one never happened. Just like, damn, maybe it will. I don't know, because clearly Ready or Not 2 is coming out of nowhere with a sequel. But that is one I've wanted to watch because they do that kind of Groundhog Day method,
Yeah.
but with a horror movie. Like, that is fucking cool. I want to see that. And it's on my
That's a
list.
really good concept.
So,
Like for me, when it comes to this time of year, my go-to movie is Paranorman. I love Paranorman.
What is
It's
Paranorman?
it's a claymation,
Hmm.
made by the same people who did Box Trolls, I think. But it's a claymation kid who can see ghosts, and it lives in kind of like a Salem, Massachusetts type town.
Okay.
And his uncle, played by John Goodman, uh is a guy who can also see ghosts, and he has this thing every single like there's a day of the witch or whatever. Every single day of the witch, he has to go up and read this thing to at the gravesite of a witch that was killed back in like pilgrim times, to calm a curse, and you have to do that every
Hmm.
year. He dies in the beginning of this movie. Not like it, like this is definitely a family friendly film. But he dies, and his ghost goes to Norman and says, "Hey, I need you to take up my mantle." And Norman's like this 11-year-old kid, and he's like, Okay, I'll try it." And then chaos ensues,
Hmm.
and it's fantastic, and it's hilarious, and it has Anna Kendrick and John Goodman, and
Casey
Yeah, okay.
Affleck's in it too, I think.
yes, I believe so.
That's the
It's
same
very
same
funny.
production
I
people
love
that
it.
did Caroline.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Caroline's kind of good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a few years before Paranorman. So I'm trying to think of my favorite Halloween kind of films. I
Mhm.
mean, growing up, it was Casper, the Friendly
Yeah.
I
Ghost.
Good
remember
one.
I used to watch it, but I don't remember anything about Casper.
Yeah, we just did a work Jeopardy thing, and Casper was one of the categories. I'm like, I don't know any of these answers,
Yeah.
like at all.
Ooh, no Hocus Pocus fans in here?
I watched it. We watched it in
Uh,
school. I remember
Yeah.
that. We'd watch it
I
in
watched that a
school.
bunch.
that's
Trying
the
to
one with
think.
the 3 witches and
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I never got into that.
yeah. And
Leprechaun? Hmm?
trying to think.
You
My
guys never seen
Uh,
Leprechaun?
I would
Oh.
say I do.
I watched Luck of the Irish on Disney Channel. Does that count?
What a pull! What a pull! Oh man. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, not at all. Not even close.
Oh man.
one of my favorite movies with ghosts is obviously Ghostbusters.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a 10 out of 10 film for me. That's
we
a
we
Mount
watched the
Rushmore
newest
movie.
one. I watched the newest one for the first time last year. We did a movie night.
Yeah, we did
Or like
Afterlife.
That's a good one.
the first of the newest ones. And
Yeah.
that was really good.
Oh,
I
Afterlife.
still want to see the second one.
Afterlife rules.
Yep.
I haven't seen the new one, but I have not heard as many good things.
Yeah.
Largely because it's a different director. I think that's the biggest
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It being Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son, Afterlife, like it was like the fact that it happened was fan service, and yet it still worked.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was hey, let's make a sequel because it made money, and a different director.
Gotcha.
Like,
Gotcha.
just felt like it didn't have all the right pieces to make it
Pieces.
work, from what I've
Mhm.
heard. How about you, Joe? Any Halloween favorites in your family? Do you guys have much of a Halloween tradition?
Oh no. My family is not a fan of Halloween movies. I am. I like to watch Leprechaun, the Jasons, Freddy.
Oh, you
Um.
like the classics?
Oh, 100. The cheesier, the better. Really.
You a Chucky guy?
Yes. That's fucking weird. I like the first one only. What else? I'm drawing a blank. There's parts of Think It or Don't Think It, Don't Say It I like. The conclusion I do not like in that movie. What else? I'm drawing a blank on other movies right now. I had a
Yeah.
list, but
My big horror growing up was actually books. It was the R.L. Stein books,
Oh,
Goosebumps.
yeah,
That was the
those are good.
myology. Their
Yeah.
dummy story, like that sentient, ventriloquist
Yes.
puppet. God damn, that fucked me up as a kid.
That's a good one.
Jeez, that messed me up.
Is that what's the one with the? Oh, this is the R.L. Stein, like they had like short movies or whatever.
Oh yeah, they had
The-
some adaptations.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
The one with like the lady wears the mask and she becomes like the little kid wears the mask. She becomes like a little crazy and possessed some sort. I can't think of it now. Damn it! Now I'm drawing a blank. My bad.
Yep. Any other thoughts on Ready or Not since we drifted away a little bit? Would it be something you would recommend? And obviously, I'm guessing Chris is a no.
Yeah, I'm a no. Like, here's the thing. I can understand you guys liking this movie. I
You
think that
don't
there
understand why we think Dune is good.
I do not understand why people like it. I really have no idea. But Ready or Not, like I can understand it being a turn your brain off kind of flick or something like that if you just want to have a interesting time. But like for me, that kind of stuff, like those are just movies where I need to immerse myself in the world and I need reasoning behind stuff, which is why I usually tend towards science fiction and not fantasy, because fantasy, there's a lot of things just left up to, oh, it's magic.
Well,
And
that
in
and
science fiction, a lot of the times they ground it in, maybe it's not real science, but they at least ground it in some terms with an
okay.
explanation for things, in my
And
opinion.
I would posit, this is just me, going off the deep end here, but I think it might be because maybe you were a little spoiled. Like growing up, we had some really well fleshed out fantasy worlds on screen,
Yeah.
particularly Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
hmm
And also the Harry Potter films. Right? Like
Mhm.
that is a movie world at least that works.
Yeah. And for me, like when I was a kid, I watched Star Wars and that was fleshed out. And then became built on more and more and more. And there was a reason behind a lot of things. And there was descriptions for why things happen that make you go back and watch old stuff. And you're
Oh.
like, oh, that's crazy. Like,
That
so
reminds
like
me.
that's why sci-fi, I think, built up for me earlier than
Interesting.
fantasy ever did.
So speaking of
So
that, Joey, sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
no, I'm the. That's kind of interesting because like I made a connection. Chris, we're kind of raised differently. Where you kind of grew up on stars. I grew up on like Willow and like Dark Crystal and like Sinbad. Um, and those are just kind of like the fantasy, and like you kind of have to fill in some of the magical stuff when it's like design settings for that. And that's interesting. I don't know. I just kind of made that connection. Then I eventually found Star Wars and fucking fell in love with that.
Yeah,
Like,
like for
dang.
me, I didn't go see the first two Lord of the Rings in theaters. I only ever saw Return of the King in theaters because
Mm,
I was like, it's fantasy, that's not for me. And then when my brother got the first two on extended edition before the third one came out, we watched it on DVD, and I was like, oh, these are actually great. I'll go see the third one in theaters. Um, but yeah, like I'm very like I didn't grow up on Willow or Dark Crystal or anything like that. I grew up on Star Wars. I mean, you could even technically say Space Jam. Space Jam at least
okay.
like made an effort to explain why things are and how
Well, that and it's
these
Looney
worlds
Tunes. Like,
connect. But it's also
we all,
Looney Tunes, so you're
everyone
also
understands.
able to
Oh,
do
it's
that.
the Looney Tunes. Like,
But yeah, like I when I was a kid, I needed something that pulled the world together and made it make sense for me instead of just saying it is, deal with it.
I don't know.
Like I
I
needed
do
a reason
have a
behind it.
movie for you. I'm wondering if you've seen it. It kind of blends some of these concepts we're talking about. Have you seen A Quiet Place?
I love A Quiet Place.
Okay. Did you
Oh,
see any of the
I've
other?
seen the first two. I have not seen the prequel yet, and I
Okay.
really want
I was
to
gonna
because I've
say
heard it's
it
fantastic.
sounds like that movie would be very up your
Yes.
alley.
You were talking about it earlier, and I had made a mental note to come back to it, and I totally forgot. But like, yes, A Quiet Place was fantastic to me. Not only because they built up a reasoning for these things and like, well, and it's like going into it's like, oh, why do they need to be quiet? Oh, because these monsters attack noise. That's literally the reason behind it. Why are they walking on sand at the beginning? Oh, because sand is softer than walking on a wooden plank or gravel. It's like there's all of that stuff. And then like you could go even further with A Quiet Place and be like, oh, the kid has a hearing problem, and every time you focus on her perspective, you have no audio. And like that's just a storytelling. Like it was just to me, Quiet Place is a masterclass in movie editing, in my opinion, because of those kinds of things, those little intricate details that bring you into specific characters' viewpoints and have you look at the world through that character. And sometimes you don't even notice that you're doing that until it's later in the movie. So I love A Quiet Place. I didn't see it immediately, but once I did, I was like, I'm here for this entire world.
That movie, I believe it's in a no sound scene where all of a sudden the kid's toy lights up, and then you see the reaction of the dad, but you don't hear it, and then bam, dead. Like, oh,
Yep.
fuck. That's a great movie. I own the 4K. Got it on a $10 sale. Ah,
the second one isn't as good, but I do think
it
that
still works.
It's still really good. And Cillian Murphy, man,
he was awesome in that film.
he's great.
So good.
Oh, so good.
I really enjoyed
didn't know
the
it was
prequel
him for
too.
a long time because him with a beard is so much different.
Yep. But I would say I think you'd enjoy the prequel too. It's definitely more of a the main character definitely. It's a different film. It's you know, like obviously the characters
it's
are figuring it out.
of
Basically.
right?
Yeah, and you know, it's day one, you know, that's what it's literally called. Even though it's really like day whatever, however many. But it's still a functional origin story for the film and for the franchise. I quite enjoyed it. Joey, we didn't get to you on would you recommend this film?
Fuck yes, and I want to collect it right away.
Yeah, this is on my
Seeking this out.
I cannot believe I missed the physical release of this.
Yeah.
Because
God.
it's the new copies that still have the digital with it, which I don't really need anymore because I just bought this on an Amazon sale. Spoiler, just heads up, if you're watching this podcast during Halloween 2024, or really maybe Halloween every single year, I got this for $2.74 4K UHD on Amazon just to buy the digital. Like, that's almost half the price of the rental. Like, go buy it. Even if you're not even if you don't know you'll like the film. Well, it's cheaper than renting it, you know, and then you have the digital. It did not get a 4K physical though, which was very weird. It was kind of in that odd place where 4K had not yet become the dominant, you know, like, hey, this is the first thing you could buy. The pre-orders are for this, the steelbooks are for the 4K. It was in that kind of where we were changing from Blu-ray to 4K with, you know, main television sets. That wasn't quite the dominant of everything yet in 19. And obviously has sense. And I'm hoping with the sequel that we do get a physical, and maybe even a collected edition. It'd be nice to have both of those together, which I think would be a cool thing to have in my collection. But speaking of, I actually don't think since we talked have you guys added anything to your collections? We didn't do that, did we?
Nope. But
no.
Have you? Right next to me.
Joey, show them off. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I love James Bond's on Blu-ray. I'm excited. It's been a good time. Got to get ripping, Madam on Jellyfin. Got them all from 62 to 2015. I'm very excited to go through all these.
What's all in that collection? Is it all the Craigs, or is it just up to? Okay, so it's up through No Time to Die.
I believe so. So Casino Royale, Spectrum, Skyfall, Quantum Solace. Yeah.
Nice. Does that include the digital or just physical?
Just physical.
Sounds good. I got the Daniel Craig collection, and the code's expired. Like, fuck you, WB. That's the second time you fucked me.
I hate that.
Batman the Animated Series pulled the code. Fuck you.
Speaking of Batman Beyond, such a good series. I was so excited when I found this. I gotta fucking get it.
Oh, I've been rewatching. They have Teen Titans on Amazon Prime now.
Yeah,
I've been rewatching that. It's so good.
I saw that was on sale, and was like between that and Batman Beyond. I was like, I think I like Batman Beyond more, so got that. The Lawn Game, interesting ad golf movie. It's okay. Would recommend. Yeah. And then we got a collection of Clint Eastwood's collection. So very excited for that. Old westerns and all that.
It was like Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Fuck yeah. You got the Good, Bad.
Dirty Harry.
Yep, Dirty Harry. Where Angels Dare. Pale Rider.
Pale Rider, yeah.
Josie Wales. It's a good one.
Oh yeah, the Outlaw Josie Wales.
Yes. Heartbreak Ridge. Unforgiven. Yeah. Dirty Harry. So good. No. Gran Turismo. It's a good collection.
Nice.
I know. I'm ready to rip those.
You get anything? You had anything?
Here's the thing. I've moved back in with my parents, so technically I have access to more things, even though I technically don't own them. So maybe I'll add some stuff to my wheel.
Fair enough. For me, I did add a few things. I added the Ocean's 4K trilogy. Yes. I watched the first one. God damn, that movie's good. I don't remember the third, but the first two are great. It's fantastic. I also my Arcane 4K season 1.
Oh, I need that.
Damn,
dude, I need that.
It's
is there a Blu-ray version of that one?
I think there is actually. This was
Okay,
a
I gotta
pre-order
hunt for that.
steelbook only, but I think you can still buy the Blu-ray. I wish
Okay.
they'd let you pick the cover for the steelbook.
Oh, to get Vi
Yeah, because I'd
instead.
rather had
Yeah, because there's a
4K with
Vi
Vi.
one. Yeah.
That would have been nice. And then Joey and I went to see Saturday Night, which is
Oh.
the new movie about the first night of Saturday Night Live. Great, excellent comedy, excellent movie,
Holy shit!
so good.
I
One of my
whenever it
favorites.
comes out, I have to get it.
One of my favorites of the year.
Oh.
On the way home, I'm like, you know what? I need to stop at Dollar General, pick up some Tylenol and everything. It's just a local dollar store, chain kind of thing. And I go to the random, like, hey, here's our movies. They have a couple turnstiles throughout the store. I found 2 movies where I was like, they're there. And I didn't know how long they'd been there because I didn't know if the digital codes would still work for the first one. But that is one of Chris's favorites that I've yet to watch.
I love
Logan
this.
Lucky. I got this
I'm
for
so excited.
I think $4.95 on Blu-ray, and the digital code worked. And then I also found somehow our Red versus Blue season 15, The Shizno Paradox.
Man, I don't think I ever saw that one.
$2.
I was like, this is fucking cool.
Actually, I think you did because this was what we watched at RTX. I think it was that RTX 18 where we had that high rise on Rainy Street with the J Bros. The D&D year. This was the RVB we watched this season.
Oh, wow. Okay. I
Yeah.
don't remember it at all then.
I barely do. I know it's a time travel thing, but it was $2.95. Like, I kind of have to buy it because I'm a Red person. I'm an old Rooster Teeth fan, so I got to. So that was what I added to my physical collection, which basically wraps up the show. I don't have much to add here unless you guys think we missed anything.
No.
This will be a shorter-ish episode, which is totally fine. Just a programming note: our next film is already decided. No Shuffler. Just due to some life shenanigans, we did have to reframe our plan, and instead of doing Raiders, we decided to do a Halloween kind of esque movie for the season, and then into November, probably that first weekend in November. Right before Extra Life for me, we will watch Raiders of the Lost Ark and have that episode up the week of Veterans Day. That'll be out for all of you to consume. And then we'll figure out what our final shuffle movie will be of the regular. And then we'll probably do a Christmas movie. And then that'll probably be the rest of our year. So we have 3 more movies before the end of the year. I'm very excited for that. I think we're going to we'll probably go through and look at like what we all have access to digitally. And not even own, like just straight up like, what do you have on Disney Plus? Like all the Santa Clauses and, all that stuff. Whatever we have access to. And then we'll watch a Christmas movie with Discord as well. And the Discord link, what do you guys think? Should I put it in the comments? Because I don't know if I want to get botted.
That's my only fear is sex bots.
Yeah.
Because Discord, I mean, they're better. I haven't seen that happen in a long damn time.
Boy, when it happens, they come in waves.
This is where I kind of want to like, should I set up a second one? Or not? I don't know. I don't think we're quite big enough of a show.
There's a moderation thing that you can do. I don't know how to do it, but it's like you make it so that when a new person comes in, they have to react to something, and that's when they actually join the real server.
Yeah.
Like they only have this one thing that they can see, and they have to read it and it reacts to it in a specific way. And then after that, the rest of the server just becomes open to them. And so it's like, bots can't just join and then they're a part of everything and spam everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they have to hit a react button or like something. But
fair enough. And I've been toying with some other things. Like, do we do like just a $1 level Patreon of like, hey, go support there, and then you get the link,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to figure some things out. Comment below if you are watching this and you would want to join the Discord for watch parties, because there's a lot of more tools now. So there's no more 10-person limit if you're doing the stage thing. So you can get around that. So if you guys want to do a Discord or join the current one we have, let us know in the comments and we'll see if we can figure something out.
And while we don't actually like speak during the movies, there is a channel, like it was happening tonight when we were watching, where people were chatting about funny things that were happening and like they were interacting with each other. So it's not like we just watch a movie and we're just all silent the entire time. Like we are silent, but there's still ways to interact with each other while we're watching the movie, and it's a good time.
And we had a little post game wrap up because a couple of the
Mhm.
people that joined us tonight hadn't seen it before as well, and they were able to join us. So that's really what this whole thing is about, just getting to enjoy some movies together. So
Yeah.
it's quite fun. And speaking of fun times, this one does have to wrap up because we got to get into the weekend. So thank you to my co-hosts for joining me as always. And
Of course,
people in the audience, we'll see you next time for Raiders of the Lost Ark. Have a good one.
I'm so excited for that one.
It's a good one.
Adventure.
I like that movie.
Adventure does have a name. Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Oh, that
I love
trailer.
it. I
That
love quote
trailer
from Passion of the Christ
was. I do remember the Chris. Speaking of Star Wars, I haven't ended yet. The trailer. So THX Star Wars Collection, the '94 black box, had one of those. You know, like because it was a similar Spielberg Lucas production. They also had a series collection trailer for VHS Indiana Jones, and they had like a trailer for that, and that was the tagline was "Adventure has a name." Indiana Jones, and then they do the fanfare from Raiders, and it's fantastic. So good.
Oh wow, okay.
So fucking good. That got me so hyped as a kid. I was spoiled as a kid for just top tier movies. Indiana Jones, the Star Wars trilogy, Star Trek, the OG 5 movies, then Undiscovered Country. Well, actually, it was everything but the motion picture because that broke. So I got to start with Wrath of Khan.
Damn. Okay.
That was the best. So Chris, have you seen Wrath of Khan?
I've seen no Star Wars or Star Trek that isn't JJ.
Okay. That is one in that's in my chamber of ideas for like, okay, if we like decide box office is done, I have a Star Trek watch along idea. Because I think you'd enjoy Star Trek.
Oh, I'm sure I'd like it. At least I probably wouldn't get up to Star Wars level for me, but I'm sure I'd like it.
Wrath of Khan for me is another 10 out of 10 film. It's right up there with Hunt for Red October. Fucking great film. Oh, so good. Anyway, we're actually done now. Everyone have a good rest of your day.
Remember, like, subscribe, download if you can, 4-star rating, all the good stuff.
5-star, excuse me. Are you just trying to? You hedging your bets? We're a 4-star show.
Subscribe to our OnlyFans.
Yes, it's just
a lot of feet pics
it's
up,
just
so.
pictures of this, like the stand of fans, not even the fan.
Yeah,
it's just the stand.
We take naughty disc pics.
A lot of hard drives uncovered.
Yeah, just the spinning, it really gets them going. SSDs do nothing for them.
Dude, no.
Look at that clean reflection.
What the fuck is happening?
We're encrypting this hard drive.
We're spooking our audience for Halloween.
Oh man, this is a great introduction to anybody watching. Or outro, I guess. The real intro did not happen. We had a really fucked up intro that we really changed.
It up. Everything was totally normal with
Joey,
this intro.
I don't even want to say what you said that set everything off the rails. It was fucking weird. Even before this, it was weird.
You stuttered. That's your fault.
All right. We're actually out of here. I'm ending the recording. Goodbye.
Oh, man.